Hey everybody, it's Pete Wyden, your host at the Epic Eco Designer. Find some better light. I'm here hanging out at my parents' place for the day. I'm actually doing a design for them. I finally had some time in my schedule and my parents hired me to do a design, so it's fun to have them as clients, and it'll be a full permaculture design on 3 acres here in Minnesota. Hey Ben and Nick, what's up? So I'm fresh off the trail. Was in the Southwest. I'll get into all that. But today's post, I'll just go through the initial part. It's called Find Yourself in Others. So this is about naturally building relationships quickly, but in genuine ways, feeling authentic, just feeling like yourself, feeling comfortable, easy, natural, talking with people that you want to work with. So in this video journal, we are exploring how to express your true self in professional situations, being your true self rather than feeling like you have to be different or have opinions that match somebody else, and how to deal with that. Building rapport quickly with people you want to work with, finding those commonalities and building upon them, and focusing on the other's experience and how that enhances your own experience as a professional and a person in the world. So I had a crazy amazing trip. I went on what's called an ecstatic dance bus tour of the southwestern US. It's a pretty unique opportunity that I had. I got invited by some friends in Santa Cruz, California to go on a bus with 30 people. The bus converts, it converts into like bunk beds, and we slept on the bus 1 or 2 nights, but I actually slept in the desert. Hopefully you can hear me with all this wind. I slept in the desert for 4 or so nights under the stars, various places. Slept in little rock cubbies in Valley of Fire State Park in California. It was just a crazy awesome time dancing in the wilderness with 30 other people. Had some DJs with us, and had an amazing night in Sedona with an artist called Parangue. He does ayahuasquero inspired music with traditional instruments and looping technology. Super cool. So if you get an invitation to do a really awesome trip and the universe is telling you and making things easy for you to do it, do it. It blew the lid off what's possible for me in my life, creatively. The friends I met, just amazing. So I'll get into today's topic nevertheless. So expressing yourself in professional situations. So the main thing I want to touch on here is simply that rather than feeling like we need to agree with people if they're expressing an idea or opinion that we don't actually agree with, rather than feeling like we either need to agree or need to confront it head on with some type of debate, simply seek to understand. Ask questions, such as if someone says, well, all the people over there are doing this thing with this crop, and it's because it's causing the erosion, but you know that it's actually water from the culvert coming on site causing erosion. It's so helpful for people to be able to learn by you asking them questions. That's how we become a teacher, and as a consultant, you are an educator. So anything that's happening, even if someone disagrees with the way that you've set up your contract, it's not about telling them necessarily, it's not about trying to convince them that your way is right. I mean, honestly, if your contract's set up in a way that protects you and that works for you and your business, then it is right. It doesn't matter what someone else thinks, and not everyone might like the way you do things, but if you know that you're in integrity, that's all that really matters. But instead of just telling somebody, well, that's the way I do things, you can seek to understand where they're coming from. So that's the type of thing I'm talking about. It's having that openness, having that flexibility and pliability in conversation. Find yourself in others means reflecting what someone's bringing up back to them, so you can get more information to understand who they are, where they're coming from, how they're actually thinking about things, rather than making assumptions or being kind of stubborn mentally yourself and trying to override somebody else's opinion. And second, building rapport quickly with people that you want to work with. So this is really common sense stuff, but it can be easy to kind of get lost in our heads if we're talking with somebody that's got a really exciting project, they got a big property, they want to do something cool that's in alignment with what we do professionally. And building rapport quickly with people, you might not necessarily have an initial conversation with somebody. Say you meet them at some kind of educational seminar or something like that. You might talk with them about their property, but it might be more around, what are you up to right now on your property? Or, oh, you're trying to grow Kernza, the perennial wheat. What has you interested in that? Like, what benefits are you looking to get from that? Commonalities. You might even just be talking about mountain biking and build rapport that way, because a good friend of mine said to me, if you're selling lemonade, don't just talk about lemons. So you might be selling a certain type of design work, a certain type of ecological service, but that doesn't mean that that's all you talk about with people. In fact, when you're building these higher ticket relationships where people are investing more money with you for a valuable service that you offer, the relationships, it's really interesting. It's more about relatability right away when you're building the relationship than I can do this for you, because one, that takes the pressure off of everything if you're just being relatable and being yourself. And also, people might not actually be open to a conversation about what you can do for them until they know and feel like they can trust you. So it's kind of these classic sales concepts, but just taken into human nature and how we actually build lasting relationships. For example, a client that I worked with recently in a farm project, he and I are just going to meet up for lunch, and I'm going to give him the hard copies of his design materials at that time, but we're just meeting up for lunch, and he actually may sign on for more design work now or in the future, but I don't have any pressure around that. One, because I've set up my business so that I've got other opportunities, I've got other sales on the radar, so I'm not relying on one thing to keep my business going, which is definitely the way to go. And that's something I teach in the mentorship programs and the upcoming group coaching program. But this is really about giving yourself and the people you're talking to the space to be themselves, and rather than having this artificial pressure of feeling like you need to make a sale or these other pieces of, really it comes a lot from this idea, this consciousness that there isn't enough time, we need to make sure things move forward super fast, or if I don't get them on, if I don't have them talking about this now, I'll never make the sale or build the relationship with them. And so that's another reason why it's so important for you to have people's contact info and be able to follow up with them, and that's how we build longer term relationships. And there's deeper techniques and strategy to building naturally lasting relationships as well. And focus on others' experience. It'll enhance your own, ultimately. For example, any client that I have, and I've been doing this for a while. I've been designing full time for 5 years now. I've done probably 250 to 300 different designs for residential and agricultural properties. And I still have things where it's like, I have to let the client know it's going to take a couple more weeks, or maybe there was something that was missing from the initial concept map and we need to put it in during the meeting. Things like that happen. But focusing on the experience that the client's having is so important, and focusing on the experience that anyone's having. If you're giving a talk, if you're helping out on a planting project, volunteering, looking out for your own experience too, of like, how are you feeling in your life and your business in general, and how are you making it your priority? Hey Jesse, how are you making it your priority to look out for your own best interests, your own holistic health and feelings of fulfillment, which allows you to focus on how other people are having a really fulfilling experience and getting their needs met when you're working with them. So focusing on the experience that somebody else is having is also about that deeper listening, such as what I mentioned about building rapport with people that we're just meeting who have really exciting projects, and our mind might be off somewhere thinking, oh my God, that would be so great. I hope this conversation goes well. really focusing on who they are, what they're up to, and having that deeper sense of curiosity, focusing on their experience, what their needs are, and being creative, being an artist with the service that we provide, and how that meets the needs that people express they have, and also goes beyond that to how we are able to empathize with somebody and deliver a service that is truly one of a kind and is something that is remarkable in that we've gone out of our way, as far as the client can tell, to make sure that they're happy with the final product, because that's what leads to referrals. That's what leads to contentment and confidence for ourselves that we can really deliver on what we say we're going to do for people. So I hope this has been helpful for you guys. I am currently enrolling people in the group coaching program Focused Growth. If you're interested in learning more about that, it's my one-to-one mentorship bottled up into a group coaching and community experience. You can leave a comment eco below or send me a personal message. Look forward to talking to you guys more soon in the next video. Bye.